Surprise. So today I did the Terry Fox run and finished it in roughly half an hour. I didn't have a time on it or anything. Um, Made it 5K though. That was the plan. So I come home and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch some football. The problem is when I haven't had enough sleep the night before, football tends to be kind of slow and it kind of puts me to sleep. So I'm like, all right, if I sit here and watch football, I'm gonna go crazy. So the hockey game comes on after I did that video earlier on restricted free agents because I had to do something. I'm not having a nap in the middle of the day. I'm not that old yet. So, or that lucky. So, because there are some younger people who are going to go, I'll take a nap. If you've got young kids, you'll take a nap. Vegas comes out today, and the Golden Knights looked pretty good eventually. Didn't start out that way, though. So here's a look at Vegas and Arizona. Game one of the preseason. It's preseason, so you have to take what happens today and kind of go, well, this is nice, but. And I didn't use my typical review setup that I use because, again, it's preseason and I don't want to get into absolutely all the numbers on it. First up, there are some big changes to Vegas's announcing team. Allison Lozoff is gone. She is now going to be calling Anaheim Duck games. She's going to be their interviewer with Fox. I know it's Fox Sports that does the Ducks games. Brad May was dismissed as well, and Nick Gismondi is out. So in Stormy. Stormy's though the name of the announcer they have interviewing everybody in between the periods of the game. She is a Las Vegas resident, so that's kind of fun that it's a hometown girl doing that. Darren Millard and Mike McKenna have been added to the team as well. Nice to see Mike McKenna on television. And so it definitely changed the whole feel of the way that Las Vegas was presenting the game today. The first period was the most entertaining part of the game. And this is kind of where we get into, I think some of it's conditioning, some of it's probably intensity-related stuff too. As a preseason game wears on, it can be just kind of tough. And this one, I think, got tougher for the teams as the game went on. Hayden looked good early. I had to write that up there. I thought Barrett Hayden looks good. If he keeps progressing like he did in today's game, I think he has an excellent chance of not just making the team, but maybe having a prominent role. Subban allowed 2 goals on the first 5 shots, and they weren't great goals. So right away, you're into that conversation again about Malcolm Subban, Garrett Sparks, and maybe Subban. But I will say this, he only allowed 2 goals all day. Patches then scored on a breakaway after taking out Yannick. Yannick came back into the game, but he took a shot, which left him kind of bloodied, and then Pacioretty went down the ice pretty quick after that and scored a goal. Yannick would come back, he'd get involved in a fight. You get the feeling this kid really, really wants a job, and he's fighting for it, and that's one of the things to take out of preseason action, is it does tend to get kind of scrappy. Then there was a second goal for Patches shortly after that. Lots of rookies playing. I had to write that in there because, let's be honest, neither team iced their grade A lineup today. That just wasn't a thing. And Pacioretty mentioned after the first period that he and Glass have been paired together since they showed up in training camp. That might be something to watch going into the season. That'd be very interesting if they do decide these two work well together. Hey, I'm all for creating 3 scoring lines, and if that's what Gerard Gallant's thinking here, we'll see. Because, that would create an interesting situation in Vegas if they could put together 3 different scoring lines. Hill did rob Zykov. Aiden Hill robbed Valentin Zykov. Very, very nice highlight reel save. You'll see it. It's just fantastic. Hill didn't have a great game, though. And then there was a fight after Kolazar flattened Ness, and it was a scary-ish looking hit, and it looked like he caught him in the head. It looked like it wasn't an intentional thing, and Ness was leaning into it. That being said, Kolazar ends up getting 10. Now, because of the fact that he goes to the box, and it looked like it was just 5 or maybe 2 or something, they go, no, 10. But again, the announcers were even kind of confused what was going on. They thought he'd been tossed out of the game. Turned out he got 5 for charging, and he got 5 for fighting. I didn't see a charge there. I thought, well, maybe they're arguing head contact. That's why he's out. I didn't really see the charge. I would need to look at that play again, but I didn't see a charge there. So, that's after the first period. you'll notice I'm not really tracking the scoring because it's preseason. Second period, an assist by Pacioretty on an Eakin goal. And, Pacioretty's having a fantastic day. That's 3 points for him so far. And it's a physical, scrappy game. I had to put that in there. And I like Hill, but I had to put this in here too. I like Aiden Hill. He may not be an NHL level goaltender. I'm starting to think, he's been through a number of training camps. He's been through a number of preseasons, and today's game just I don't know. I'm not sure if he's going to end up in the American League as the starter or what, but he didn't have a great game. This is not something that Arizona's going to look at after today and say, we've got Ronta, we've got Kemper, and I like that Hill kid. They're not saying that after today's action. I'm not saying he's not still got upside. I love Aiden Hill. I want to see him succeed. Just not sure it's there. Subban did turn it around. I had to put up there. Subban turns it around. Malcolm Subban played a very good game. After those first 2 goals, he didn't let that rattle him. The crowd was booing at one point when they were down 2-1. But they rallied pretty quick after that, and Subban played really, really well. He played the angles well. And again, this is one of those things where do you want to overreact to the bad? Do you want to overreact to the good? To the good, hat trick for Patches, and a bunch of hats hit the ice. And all I kept thinking was, I hope those are preseason hats. I don't think preseason hats are a thing, but you throw your hat on the ice for a hat trick, you go, I was there for the hat trick on September 15th for Max Pacioretty, and people go, what hat trick? He didn't get a hat trick this year. Yeah, no, it was a preseason hat trick. Oh, those stats don't count. I have to go get my hat back. Hi, Vegas, can I have my hat back? No. So yeah, that's why I put better be preseason hats. I will say that if I was at a game and if I had a hat that I wasn't a huge fan of and it's preseason, I'd still be like, that's preseason. And it just, I don't think I could let that out of my head. We'll see. I'm going to the Ottawa-Vancouver game this week, so we'll see if a hat trick happens if my hat hits the ice. So third period, it was a sloppy start to the third period. And the third period of this game was, I'm going to be honest, borderline unwatchable. It was a tough one. It was slowing down, and I put up here clearly first preseason game. These teams, not sharp. There was a lot of sloppy play on both teams. Both coaches are going to have a lot to work on. Calgary was in net for the Coyotes in that third period. I thought he looked okay. He didn't get a ton of really big time shots, but he ends up putting up better numbers than did Hill. That says Hall. That shouldn't say Hall. I've got to change that to Hill. So Calgary's in net, and then Smith scores a shorthanded goal quickly out of the box. They were 5-on-3, where the Coyotes couldn't score. If you're a Coyotes fan, today's game may feel kind of like a bit of a trigger. Maybe kind of a, wait a minute. We're not going through this again, are we? Where it looks like, all right, you're going to be able to score, and then no scoring. And their power play was lost. Again, it's rookies. You don't want to overreact, but there's a lot of work to be done with this team. So Smith scores that shorthanded goal, and I thought it was I'm not going to throw shade at Calgary for that goal, but from his reaction after, I think he was like, man, I should have had that, which is the reaction goaltenders should have. The Coyotes had no shots for about 7 minutes in that third period. They went without a shot there. Again, it was not great hockey overall, and yet the Coyotes ended up with 8 power plays. I think Vegas ended up with 4. So both teams on the power play, it kind of wasn't working. In fact, the Arizona Coyotes pulled their goaltender and ended up allowing an empty net shorthanded goal by McNabb. So that's 2 shorthanded goals for Arizona, or for Vegas against Arizona, and Arizona didn't have a power play goal. So it's kind of a reverse of what Arizona was able to do last year. Arizona was able to, through a fantastic penalty kill and some really timely shorthanded goals, they were able to make their special teams, which didn't look very good, turn out to be in their favor, in large part thanks to the fact that their shorthanded goals outpaced the power play goals they were allowing early in the year. In this game, Vegas definitely kind of turned the whole script against them. So at the end of this game, Hill ends up saving 19 out of 23 for an .826 save percentage. Calgren saves 8 out of 9 for an .889 save percentage. And Malcolm Subban saves 29 out of 31 for a .935 save percentage. So there will be some who look at a shaky goal in the highlight reel and they go, I don't know if Subban's the guy. But for anybody who watched the entire game, he actually had a pretty good game. Would he like a goal or two of the ones that went by him back? Yes. Does that mean he had a bad game? No, not really, because he had some really nice saves in the second, and I thought in the third when he was tested, he was there. So this was a fun game considering it's preseason. I'm not going to do this for all the preseason games, obviously. But this was a fun one, and I thought since it's the first preseason game of the year, I might as well do a review for it. So there you go. Vegas is 1-0 in the preseason. They are the only team in the league with a win so far. And Arizona is the only team in the league with a loss. And tomorrow that all changes. So let me know what you guys thought if you watched this game. What do you think of the new announced team if you're a Vegas fan and watched the game? And how do you guys feel about the team after all this? And Arizona fans, what did you like? Did you like Labushkin's game? Were you impressed by some of the players on this team? And what are you most excited to see change after this game? Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, and hey, we're back. Hockey is back. It's officially back. I'm happy to. I will talk to you again soon.